Okay, so we're going to start a little differently today. You're going to have to move your mat over to a wall because you're going to need a tiny bit of wall space. If you don't want to or don't have the time for all that today, you can just put your feet on the floor. But if you can, scoot yourself pretty close to a wall. Take your time. And then you're just going to rest your legs off the wall. You don't have to be really close to the wall with your hips. Let your arms rest wherever you want them and let your eyes close. And you can let your feet kind of fall however they will, and have a couple of easy breaths here. Just checking in with yourself. And just noticing, and maybe using your memory to do so, is there any sort of story, any sort of stuff that you keep revisiting? Maybe reinforcing? So, of course, we spend our whole life reinforcing certain stories and not even noticing other ones. Everyone does this all the time, and most of the time, well, let's say much of the time, it works out for us. You can tell when it's not working out. You can tell when you're paying attention to the wrong stories. So let's pay attention to the right ones. Let's tell the story of ease in the body. And you can reinforce the story by feeling it. Really feel your face soften. Notice the rhythm of your breath and allow it to get a little steadier, easier. Maybe you feel a natural slowing down of the exhales, nothing forced, just another second or so, a little stretch at the end of the exhale. Let's do a little of hip exploration. You can let your eyes blink open. And maybe if you practice Ujjayi breath, you take a moment to find that whisper, a very quiet whisper in the back of the throat. You're going to bend your knees. So they'll be maybe at a 90-degree angle. It doesn't have to be perfect, but the feet are now going to be on the wall. You can place your arms by your sides. But if you are okay with it, eventually place your fingertips near your hip points, maybe on them. Doesn't matter how easily you can feel them. And when you're ready to, breathe in. And as you breathe out, press your lower back in towards the floor. And from here, you're going to press your feet into the wall and imagine you are dragging the wall down with your feet. And breathe. So your feet are pressing into the wall and dragging down. Notice if that has a repercussions anywhere along your legs. Feet are pressing into the wall as you breathe. The lower back is pressing in towards the floor. It may or may not touch it. And you're dragging your feet down. Now let's drag just the left foot down and lift the right leg up towards the ceiling. Drag just the left foot down. What do you feel? So it's not actually moving down, but you're pushing it into the wall and then pulling the wall down with your foot. Let's place the right foot on the wall. Push it into the wall and down. Take your left leg to get nice and light, like it floats like a balloon towards the ceiling. But the right leg is so active because you're pressing the foot down the wall. Breathe. What do you feel? Let's put the left foot back on the wall. Feet are pretty level with each other, and they're about the distance apart of your hips, of your pelvis, really. Go ahead and press your lower back down some more. Press your feet into the wall, and then lift your sacrum off of the floor in a way that feels really easy on your back. Now you're still pressing your feet down the wall, in and down the wall. Let your fingertips, again, if you're fine with it, come to your pelvis, where your hip points are. So the headlight's kind of in the front of your bone, in the front of the pelvis. And have a breath. You might even close your eyes, but you're going to lift your right foot up towards the ceiling. The left foot is still pressing down. The difference this time is that your hips are off the floor. What do you feel? Pull that foot down the wall without actually letting it move. And let's put the right foot down onto the wall. Pull it down, take the left foot up. Now I feel on the sides, I won't say which one because I don't want to plant any seeds. I feel a dramatic difference in my hips. You might not. Push the foot into the wall, drag it down. Let's do it again. Put that foot on the wall. Lift the other. Try to keep your hip points level so one doesn't fall. Drag your foot down the wall. Place your right foot back on the wall, left leg up. Last time. Drag your right foot down the wall. What happens to the left hip? To your breath. Drag your foot down, down, down the wall. It's pretty intense. Really push into the wall, pull down. Now let's put both feet on the wall and start squeezing the upper inner thighs in towards each other as you drag both of your feet down the wall. When you're ready, you're going to lower your hips to the floor. You can move farther away from the wall if you want to, whatever feels best on your back. But as you drag your heels into and down the wall, lift your hips up. Do whatever you want with your arms. They can come off your hips now. And then hips down. Squeeze your upper inner thighs in, your feet down the wall. Lift and lower your hips again and again. Like you're trying to bore holes into the wall with your toes, the balls of the feet and your heels, and then you're trying to drag those holes down towards the floor. But your face is nice and soft. Maybe relaxed. And let's say the next time you come down, come all the way down, you don't need the wall anymore, so you can wiggle away from it. Make your way wherever you feel comfortable. On your back still, though. And we're going to put the toes to the floor, bring the legs together, and lift the heels up in a way that feels comfortable. The highest heels, imaginary heels you can wear with no pain in your feet or ankles. And then squeeze your legs together. If you wanted to, you could place a hand weight, like a 4 or 5 pounds, like 3 or 4 or 5 pounds, in between your inner legs, and just squeeze it. And then go ahead, heels up, lift your hips. And you're just going to pulse your hips higher and higher and higher as you breathe. A little up, 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 up. They can drop down, of course, a little every time. Now, as you pulse your hips up, squeeze the inner thighs in, 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 like you're trying to crush that imaginary or real weight in between your legs. Squeeze, squeeze. Now lift your hips as high as you can and squeeze in, 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 in. Relax. So you need some room to the left and to the right because we're going to open the legs out into a bit of a straddle. But still on the back, you can do what you'd like with your arms. Feet now reaching up towards the ceiling. Find your breath again. And before we do anything, take a moment to notice if you've got anything kind of playing in the background of your mind. Again, if there's anything that seems to be being reiterated now or reinforced, be careful with what it is. Be very picky about what you're giving your energy to. Now let's find the breath. And when we're inhaling, we're going to open the legs nice and wide. And when we exhale, we're going to bring them together. Inhale out. Exhale in. Take it easy at first. You might find the more you do this, the more room you have to move. How close the legs are to you can affect what you feel, of course. But let's have the legs either bent or straight, whatever your body can do today. Have the legs, when they reach up towards the ceiling, reaching pretty much straight up. Even if they're bent, knees point straight up. If the legs are straight, the feet point straight up. Now you're going to continue to do this. The only change is that you're going to stop stressing. Pay more attention to what you feel. And now imagine when you bring your legs together, like you had a bit of resistance there. Like when your legs go out, gravity does it. But when they come in, it's like your legs are moving through quicksand and you have to pull them together. And then out they fall and in they squeeze. Out, you can point your feet if you like that. In, out, drop. They might even bounce a little and then in, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And out and in. Now when you take your legs in, keep on feeling that squeeze so there's still effort there, but let's cross when the legs come in, one leg in front of the other. And then inhale, legs out. It's not just the foot you're crossing. See if you can cross the whole leg. Squeezing and out, and squeezing and out. Just alternating the leg that you cross. And again, when you find you become lost in thought, which is fine and what the brain is supposed to do, of course, right now you're going to dismiss it and you're not going to add anything to it. You're not going to consider any shoulds or shouldn'ts. You're just going to thank it, dismiss it. It's not the time for it. What do you feel? Are the legs dropping out a little more? One more in each direction. So one foot over, other foot over. Bend your knees. And let's make our way onto hands and knees. And from there, inhale, reach your right leg back in space. And then point your foot, exhale. Let's take the leg and make a big circle with it. So you reach it over to the right and up and to the left, and maybe the toes tap the floor. And then up and around to the right. So a kind of half circle. And up and to the left. Inhale up, exhale out and around. Again, watch what you're paying attention to. Watch what you're spending your energy on. Be pretty stingy about it. You can spend your energy fully and completely and really generously on the breath, on paying attention to what you feel, on reinforcing the stories that are helping you, but nothing else. The next time you bring your leg over to the left, let's go into plank pose for just a moment, squeezing the legs in towards each other. Breathe in, exhale, knees, and rest of the body come to the floor. And from here, you're going to roll on to your left side with your knees tucked in. And you're going to take your top leg, your right leg, and reach it in front of you. So you're pointing it in the direction your belly button basically is pointing. And then start tracing circles with your leg. And allow those circles to start getting a little bigger. So you pull the knee toward your belly and then up and around. Let's make those same circles, but in the other direction. Let's start big. And make them a little smaller. And then take that leg and just pulse it up and down, up and down, up and down. You can breathe really slowly and close your eyes if you want to and move as quickly as you'd like. Now let's bend that knee. Bring the big toes together. Inhale. Exhale, open your knees away from each other. Inhale together. Exhale, open. In. Out. In. Out. So again, the door is closed to everything but stories that are supporting you, that are lifting you up, that are energizing you. And attention to the breath, to what you feel. No time for anything else right now. Let's lower the knee. Come onto the belly and find a little back bend, anything you want, anything that feels really good. Just hold it for a few breaths. This can be really deep, it can be really small, it can be whatever suits. And we meet on the hands and knees again. When you're ready, reach your left leg back, see how it feels. You're going to take that leg and lift it, tracing a sort of circle or kind of rainbow or a lowercase n over to one side and the other. So you'll cross over your back foot. And again, maybe the circles are a little small. It might be counterintuitive, but try to lean into your left hand. And you might find that translates to engaging differently in the abdomen. lifting that leg like you had a paintbrush on your heel or on your toes. Again, you could point the foot. You can do whatever feels best on your foot. You could flex the ankle either way, any way. Couple more. See if you can tuck your tailbone a smidge, but make this next and last one really big. And when the leg lands over to the right, just put the toes to the floor. Walk your hands forward however you need to. Plank pose, breathe in, squeeze in. Squeeze your glutes, so squeeze your butt, squeeze your inner thighs, squeeze your feet. Inhale and exhale onto your belly. When you get there, you will roll now onto your right side. You can make a pillow with your right arm, snug your knees in like you were going into the fetal position. The left hand can be settled on the floor in front of you. And take your left leg to top leg, reach it forward. Whatever direction happens naturally, start making circles. Maybe they're the size of a softball or a soccer ball. Volleyball. Maybe bigger. Circles that go with the pace of your breath. Bigger and bigger. Now let's make those circles in the other direction. As big as you can with your leg pretty engaged. So you're not trying to fall so much with gravity at this point, but you're actually almost resisting it a little bit. So there's a sense of hesitation in the movement, even while you move with a bit of confidence in your strength and your stamina. The circles are getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And then teeny tiny. And then instead of circles, you're just lifting your leg up and down. Maybe in pulses, maybe it's bigger. Let your knee bend, your big toes come together. And then when you inhale, just kind of lean your torso towards the floor a little bit. When you exhale, some. Exhale, lift, keep going. Move definitely at the pace of your breathing. So inhale to drop. Exhale, lift as high as you can. Fill in the space. And then down there. And let's make our way into downward dog. Hips up. Move your legs around if you want to. Breathe. And we'll travel up to the front of the mat. When we get there, we're going to separate the feet about mat distance apart. It can be a little more or less than that, but lower your hips down and lift your torso away from your legs. So we're going to have the torso not back bending or rounding forward too much. If your body naturally does one or the other, it's okay. But see if you can keep your torso pretty much neutral. If that means you have to lift your hips higher, that's okay. That means you have to lower them more, that's okay. But neutral torso. So your pelvis and your rib cage, imagine like two yoga blocks stacked at whatever angle, one on top of the other. And we're just going to pulse the hips up and down a couple inches. Imagining you had a band around your legs and you were trying to rip it apart. So knees out, out, out. And now from here, bring your left foot to center and your right foot to meet it. Bring your right foot out and your left foot out. And right foot in, left foot in. And left foot out, right foot out. Let's go a little bigger. If you want to turn so you've got more mat to work with, feel free. But let's take the left foot out a lot, and then the right leg out a lot. And then right leg in, left leg in. And then right leg out really far, lean into it. Left leg out far. Left leg in, right leg in. Left leg out far, right leg out far. Right leg in, left leg. One more time. Right leg out, left leg out. Left leg in, right leg in. And stand up tall. Separate your feet even more. Turn your heels in and breathe in. And when you breathe out, bend your right knee, moving your hips towards the floor, maybe behind your heel. You can put your hands down. Lift your hips up. Walk your hands to the left and lower down. And to the right. Don't do this to get it done. Just notice what you feel. Your knees as far away from each other as you can get them. Basically the whole time. The knees are moving out by the hip muscles moving out, by the thigh bones moving out. And the next time you bend your left knee, you can push that foot into the floor, stand up. And let's walk to the front of the mat. Take your time. Inhale, reach the arms up. And exhale, fold forward in a way that's really comfortable for you. Inhale, lift your back up, let your belly move, get some room to breathe. Bring your fingertips down and come onto your knees. Now again, you might want some extra space or some pillows or blankets for your knees, but you're going to put your hands to the floor in front of you and then separate your knees away from each other as much as you can. So knees out, feet out, elbows to the floor. And I want you to find that space. And oftentimes for people, this takes moving the hips back a couple inches or forward. You'll nudge your way into it. But you want to feel that space where it's pretty intense. And then you're going to let it become, just because you decided, just a sensation that you feel. So of course, by intense, I don't mean you're hurting yourself. The stretch might feel a little intense, but the goal is never, ever to cause harm. So the only thing that's happening is there's maybe intense, maybe I should find a different word, tug around the inner thighs. And then you're going to use the strength of your mind, the ease of your breath, to teach your nervous system to tolerate this sensation. It's a safe one. We're looking for safe, but it's foreign, so it might be a little challenging too. Again, work your way through this with easy breath, being very picky about what you make important. And just trust yourself, trust your body, trust your mind. You've had your whole life to create the mental habits that you have now. So be really compassionate when you're working through them. A little bit more surrendering, a little bit more letting go. In the midst of the intensity, just let go. And now you'll come out. Doesn't have to be pretty. However your body is okay with. And the work is done. Let's come onto the back and go into happy baby. Feel reach in between the knees for your feet and stretch one leg out to the side and then the other one. And then Shavasana. Take your legs out, palms up. And you'll rest here for just a couple minutes. And you might find that your thoughts are pretty insistent and some old patterns are popping up. But every single time you recognize that, every single time you notice that this is a bogus story that you don't want to be attached to anymore, every time that happens, you weaken the habit, right? Every time that happens, you strengthen your ability to be picky about what you pay attention to, what you spend your time on. So have a deep breath and release it, feeling the sense of ease in your whole body. Now, fully letting gravity take everything over. Inviting a sense of deep ease. So every part of you gets the signal to let go. All of your skeletal muscles, as if all at the same time, got the signal from your nervous system to stop contracting. You feel a sense of almost melting into the floor. And the breath becomes so easy and subtle. And you can stay here as long as you'd like. If you are deciding to sit up, feel free. But either way, step back. Observe. Detach. And if at any point you want to fold forward, place the hands where you'd like them. Have a breath in and fold. And thank you very much.